Here we go, yet again. Another rift in the Destiny community. This time, let the average Joes, the 9 to 5 guys, come home, maybe take care of the kids, maybe hang out with a girlfriend, jump on Destiny. Versus the top epsilon elite of players. We're talking really good players, streamers, YouTubers, people who have a lot of time on their hands to play Destiny. And look, this is not the first time this kind of thing has happened between streamers, really good players and average players, because it's been going on for years and years now. And people really just feel like streamers, influencers, YouTubers may have too much control on what's going on in the game. And really, Bungie is making the game for these top tier players, and they're not really focusing on the average Joes. And to people that are average, that's a problem. With the reprise raid, Crota's in, finally coming to D2, and the contest mode is officially over. People have had mixed reviews about it. And what are these mixed reviews? Some people thought it was too hard, and some people thought it was just right. And I'm willing to bet a lot of these people who thought it was too hard possibly played Rooted Nightmares for their first time, and that raid actually had a record number of people clearing it. A lot of people were flipped on that. Some people said it was too easy, and some people said it was just right. So there's kind of an imbalance going on already. I think the disconnect was really that if you're a seasoned player, you know that Rooted Nightmares was kind of not really how day one contests go. I mean, they have progressively been getting easier, but if you remember raids like Garden of Salvation and Last Wish, they were extra super hard, and really, no one could beat them. But if you're a new player and you're seeing this, you're also thinking, okay, well, this raid got thousands of people clearing it, and the one before that had 10,000 of people, so obviously it's not super hard. Is this thing being gatekeeped a little bit for people who play more than the average person would? And me, someone as a seasoned player, my reaction is, yeah, of course. But for someone who just jumped in the game, this might be somewhat of like a shocker, right? And maybe someone who doesn't really raid, this is also maybe a shocker. But to people who do raid day one, it's not a shocker at all. That's not only where the problem lies, it's only just the little catalyst that kind of sparked the bomb that the discussion's been going on for the past couple weeks online. Elysium win contest mode yet again, day one, the first team to clear it. And a member of that team is Salta Greppo. Now this guy is notoriously an elite player. He is the bee's knees, but he is mostly known for his bad takes around the Destiny community. Now, when I say bad takes, really it's a personal decision, right? Because he is definitely known for the one super hot take that is Divinity needs to be nerfed, right? It's making the game too easy. He's come out with, well, it's too easy, it needs to be nerfed. And during or after the raid, I'm not exactly sure, he states that Lament needs to be nerfed. And then right under that, subtweets, or whatever you call it nowadays, a little trolley face, right? Now, people on each one of these comments got really, really mad. See, Lament is basically the main strategy for Crota. I don't know if it still is. It's been a couple days, so it might not be. But during that time, it definitely was. And throwing out that tweet kind of made it seem like, I got the win, I don't want anybody else to. Which is, I don't know, you won, so like, who cares, right? But these are takes that, if they didn't really produce anything, I don't think most people would care. But we have to dive into the Divinity story. So a little less than a year ago, Salta Greppo put out that tweet about Divinity, and Divinity, shortly after, got nerfed, man. It got weakened. It was not as effective as it used to be in combat. Now, Divinity is a thing that people take on various hard missions, right? Because Divinity is essentially the great equalizer. It gives you a big bubble where you can hit crits, and you're doing major damage when you have this weapon equipped on your team. Now, I get how people think it's a crutch, but people love this weapon. Like, it's a fan favorite. Everybody loves it. Also, it's not just an easy exotic to get. It is a raid exotic, which makes it hard to begin with, but it's a raid quest exotic where you have to do a special quest, and then you have to do the raid with a special team and run a special mission in order to receive that exotic. And to be fair, a lot of newer people don't even have the exotic, so when people do get it, they're pretty amped, man. I'm not gonna lie, like, people really enjoy that weapon. But when it got nerfed, it seemed like that equal footing was taken down a little bit, and Southern Grapple became public enemy #1. I'm not sure if he actually felt like he was trolling or he was genuine about how he feels that Divinity kind of takes the skill away from the game. Either way, people were super upset, man. I'm talking super, they were coming for this guy. Things died down after a little bit. We all learned to live in a Destiny world post Divinity nerf, you know. Other things got buffed and we started using those other things. Pretty recently, he's been throwing out some tweets there and there, and the one that really caught on was to nerf the well. Now, the community is split on this one as well, because really, you kind of need a well in this kind of game, right? See, Destiny 2 is like a soft MMO, and it still kind of holds to like the MMO triangle. The MMO triangle essentially is you have a DPS person, you have a tank, and you have a healer. Hunter covers DPS, Titan is a tank, and Warlock is a healer. Now, with the past happening the way it did, and Divinity ultimately getting nerfed, this had people worried, and really the fear was set in that streamers had influence already in the past. So whenever a tweet like this comes from a person that it seems that whatever they say happens, people start getting furious. People start feeling like the gap between really high level players. I'm talking high level. Destiny's been out a long time, so there's people who are really, really good at it, and the average person just widen that much more. And after the lament tweet, I think people are pretty much fed up with it, even though it was a trolley face. Now, is it a retroactive trolley face? I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know really how this guy thinks, but it doesn't matter. People are still in fear of things getting nerfed because a streamer / really good Destiny 2 player thinks it should. Now, the question an average player would have is, A, is that fair? And B, does that really make sense to tailor the game to someone who is extremely good and the rest of us have to suffer because of that? Salta Grappo seemingly seems to be the most recent iteration or cause or spark to light the flame between streamers, really good players, influencers, and the average to new player. This thing has had precedents before, and let's just go back, let's even a little bit around that time where the Divinity T came out, and there was this thing called skill-based matchmaking, and this had the whole community up in flames. Before I go dive into skill-based matchmaking, there's definitely been other instances of people feeling that streamers have a little bit too much balance on the game and it's not unfair. So let me run down a few before I dive head deep into skills-based matchmaking. One thing we had is unjust cheating. That was kind of a major thing with things like Chronos and banning people that didn't deserve to be banned, and streamers getting people banned that didn't deserve to, but since they were called cheater by a streamer, their accounts get banned and you can't recover it. It's a whole big deal. Up in the difficulty on Grandmaster Nightfalls, a lot of the upper echelon players, including streamers and influencers, were feeling like Grandmasters was just too easy and they need to be more of a challenge. And people who are just average, maybe just getting to that Grandmaster level, felt that was pretty unfair because, to be honest, you got to work up to that level. You got to spend a lot of time in the season, and then you have to have certain weapons and know certain strategies and know the maps. So when you finally start getting it down, they up the difficulty, and people weren't too happy about this either. A big one that's kind of still going on to this day is Trials of Osiris, the way the rewards are set and how impossibly hard it is sometimes, and how it's kind of unfair to not really get too much rewards, even if you put in 4 hours and you just get massively destroyed. You weren't getting rewards. It's a little bit better now. Um, it's still kind of an issue, but that was definitely another thing where it was the streamers are pretty much just saying, "Hey, get good, bro," and people that are kind of on the medium level wasn't really feeling that. Last but not least, before we just jump into skills-based matchmaking, there was kind of like this conspiracy going around that there's streamer drops, and what streamer drops basically means is that if you're a somewhat popular streamer, exotic raid exotics were dropping more frequently than it would for a normal person just raiding the raid. And that's pretty much a conspiracy. Some people still believe it's true. I don't know if I'm in that camp, but it's definitely a talking point for some people. Now, skills based matchmaking is interesting, and the reason I wanted to kind of dive into this one is because it was a thing that was done for more of the average player and not the high end player. And man, did some streamers get super vexed, man. Pun intended. I want to reiterate, I said some because not all of them were super upset about skills based matchmaking, but there was a good portion of it. And a lot of the regular people thought they were angry because, look, you can't just jump on Twitch right now and just frag everybody, own everybody. Things are going to be a little bit more different now. Now you have to run people at your same skill level, and that's not going to be easy. And you might not look good on stream. And hey, like I said before, those thoughts were already in the air. That separation was kind of already happening, and people who were just not streamers were kind of for it, man. I'm not gonna lie. The issue was that what people were thinking about the new lights and the moderate players, their thoughts were actually pretty valid. But were they 100% valid? No. There was other concerns about skill-based matchmaking that concerned higher end players, but it felt like the streamers and influencers were winning so long, no one really cared to hear about their side, really. And the other side of the story that no one talks about is that when you're in such a level and a high skill player, that now you're going to be matched up with people at your same skill base, right? But the issue is that there's not as many people playing Destiny 2 that's in your area that is on your same skill if you're at the top of the food chain. So that means you're gonna have to wait longer wait times to find more people in your kind of difficulty group. And that means more distance in between people, which leads to weaker connections. And if you're a streamer or you're a YouTuber, whatever you're doing, this just not look good, man. It just feels bad to have to wait like 10 minutes for a game, which I'm not too sure because I'm not a super high skill player. Sometimes waiting for lobbies takes a little bit, but it's been pretty good so far. If you're a high level player, quote down in the comments below, tell me how it's been. It's been around for a while, but this was kind of like the side no one wanted to hear because it felt like streamers and high-end players were getting so many wins that, hey man, we got one, we don't care. We don't care about you looking good on stream, man. We don't care about that kind of stuff. We care about having a good time in the game. So, whose fun time is more important? Is it the person that plays the 9 to 5, goes to work, come home, pats a baby, jumps on the computer, jumps on the PlayStation, Xbox, plays? Or is it the person that kind of, quote unquote, no life's the game? Who's more important? So Bungie's looking at it probably like, we're doing some for some, we're doing some for others. And we're looking at it like, hey man, who are you designing this game for? If you're a high skill player, you're feeling like, hey, you're kind of nerfing me, man. I want a stronger, better experience when I'm playing Destiny. It's too easy. I'm not getting as much fulfillment as I should when I'm playing this game. And if you're a new person, you're thinking, I don't want to say just new. If you're a moderate to newer player, if you're not on the high end skill tree, you're thinking, dude, I'm just trying to have fun, and it feels like everything that I work towards just gets taken away from me. Div doesn't work anymore. I'm not having fun in PvP. All these things continuously happen. I don't know what to do. Bungie's looking at it like, you can't please everybody. Okay, a little caveat though. When I say new to moderate players, I don't mean new to moderate players like you're a new player to Candy Crush and you've been playing the last 20 minutes. For a game like Destiny, a new player could be up to about 1,000 hours. Like, it's not set in stone. I mean, you should be pretty well seasoned at 1,000 hours, but I doubt you've mastered it. Now, if we're talking more elite end, we're looking at thousands and thousands of hours. I don't know what the record is right now, but I'm sure someone has 10K logged in, 100% sure. I'm not sure if that time works out, what long the game has been, but they're itching towards that, man. I'm telling you, it's been a lot of hours. Now we have these two parties jockeying for each side of like trying to push Bungie to make the game in a certain direction, and me kind of being like right in that middle. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I think both audiences do need to be pleased somewhat. Maybe there needs to be another step higher level of difficulty, but nerfing weapons and stuff like that just feels icky, man. It doesn't feel right, especially things that you worked really hard for and you're really excited to get, and then it gets nerfed. You know what I mean? Like, Lament is not something you just pick up at the store. It's a mission you gotta run, and it's a whole deal. And that feels icky when you can't use it really because it's been nerfed to the ground, or you worked hard for div and that's gone, or just these things that like kind of invalidate your time in the game. On the other end, make it harder, man. I don't know. Make it even more challenging. Make master raids, master dungeons really, really hard. I don't care about them. Most people don't care about them. You get a cool emblem. Ultimately, I think that Destiny does need a mentorship program. Other games have it. I've mentioned it before in the past. I'm gonna keep harping on it until we actually get one. We need a mentorship program, man. People are afraid to run dungeons and raids due to toxicity, and kind of, if you're fresh in the game, let's say I have like 50 hours, I want to try a raid, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't know a lot of terminology, I don't know weapons I should have. There are times where they're kind of just ostracized in the raid group, and it's not fun. I've been a part of those things, and I have to correct it. It's not cool. It's not a good thing. Having a mentorship program, put in rewards for people to take sharpening people throughout the game would make the experience so much better. Maybe you just start off with raids and dungeons, and then you work your way up through like maybe the whole story content. I'm not exactly sure you've done it. There's plenty of loadouts, there's plenty of templates. Bungie needs to get it done. I think this would actually help mend that little bit of division we have, because you're building relationships with people who are newer and people that are older. There's plenty of clans out there that have been pretty much locked and loaded together for years now. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 years they've been clanmates. So this will open up, help build new relationships in the game, and ultimately help dissolve that little rift that we got going on right now. It's not healthy for the game. And if you push me to a wall and you're like, okay, who do you pick, Sleek Shadow? You got to pick one of these two groups. I'm gonna side with the newer players, because newer players are what feeds and they grow into more advanced players, man. The more newer players you get, the more people that can fall in love with Destiny, which means the more money they're going to spend on Destiny, which means that we're going to get better, stronger content. And that's what I'm for. I'm here for the content, baby. That's what Sleek's here for. Now, do I think you should just poo-poo anything else? No, I want people to feel accomplishment and feel a sense of pride when they're playing Destiny. Heck, man, real talk, for some people, this is all they got, man. And having that sense of pride in Destiny, too, is like maybe what some people are living for, and I don't want to take that away from anybody. So I think having a mentorship program is definitely the best route to do it, man. Final Fantasy XIV has the best one, and it's so good. And like, Sprouts are just so loved, and people want to help them out. Like, Destiny is a game that's known for having actually a good community, as toxic and crazy as it sounds. We've been nominated twice. So putting this program in, along with we're getting that fire team finder, but having this mentorship program definitely can help with just building relationships, chirping people through. I don't know. It's just an idea. All right, y'all. I'm just laying it out. I love everybody, bro. No shade on anybody. Just laying it out the way I see it. Um, like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts and comments, man. I want to see it. I want to interact with that. Just let me know. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I'm just putting out like what I researched a little bit, what I've experienced, what I've lived through. With that, thank you. I hope your day is great. I hope your night's even better. Love, Sleek Shadow. I'm out. Peace.